It's the kind of day ordered up by the Visitors Bureau. A look at downtown San Francisco, 70 degrees, bright blue skies, and on the southern edge of the city, Candlestick Park. It'll be the final year for the 49ers here, and Adrian Peterson tonight leads his Minnesota Vikings into San Francisco to take on Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers on this NBC preseason special. Now, Michael's Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, welcome to San Francisco. A matchup of two playoff teams from a year ago. The Vikings 2 years ago won only 3 games. Then last year stunned everybody by winning 10 on the rebuilt knee of Adrian Peterson, who had one of the great seasons in NFL rushing history, and got to the playoffs where they lost in the wild card round to Green Bay. Now, 2 years ago, the 49ers got within a whisker of getting to the Super Bowl. Last year, they got within a whisker of winning the Super Bowl. So they have some unfinished business and, of course, are led by one of the most exciting young quarterbacks to come along in years in the NFL, Colin Kaepernick. Chris, a lot of people figured that the 49ers are favored to win the Super Bowl. Where do you stand?
Seattle in this division may have a little something to say about that. Atlanta, but you're right. They're all built around this special guy named Colin Kaepernick, and it's almost hard to believe that he's only played 10 games in the National Football League, and that's counting the playoffs and the Super Bowl. And yet so many defensive coordinators around this league spent a good part of their offseason trying to figure out a way to stop him.
Right, took over for Alex Smith after he got hurt last November. Now, in Minnesota, we all know about Adrian Peterson. I don't know what to expect, but we can expect a lot from him. But clearly the onus there is on the quarterback, Christian Ponder, this year.
Yeah, they did make the playoffs a season ago, and Christian Ponder played his best football at the end of the year to get them into the playoffs. But you're right. If they're going to take that next step, they're going to have to throw it better than what they did a season ago, and they've got better weapons for him now. You know, Greg Jennings comes over from the Green Bay Packers. Cordero Patterson, the draft pick, I think is going to be a very good player, and so we'll see if that passing game is going to be any better tonight.
Ponder in action tonight. We'll see a little bit of Adrian Peterson, last year's National Football League most valuable player. He's also the subject of our halftime interview. It's the Vikings and 49ers on NBC next.
NBC Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
And a look back from San Francisco Bay, the skyline of downtown San Francisco, back into Candlestick Park. Minnesota against San Francisco. Minnesota, coached by Leslie Frazier, begins his 3rd full season at the helm. And moments ago, down on the field with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Coach, in your first 2 preseason games, you didn't game plan much, but your offense really struggled. What do you need to see from that side of the football tonight?
Well, we'd like to get some first downs and move the football a little bit and, put some things together where we can walk off this field tonight feeling confident about the direction we're going.
And the direction you're going is into your division, which has 3 really well-established quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, Jay Cutler, Matthew Stafford. What does your quarterback, Christian Ponder, need to do to be competitive with those guys?
Well, Michelle, we don't really get into comparing our quarterback to other quarterbacks. All he needs to do is lead the Minnesota Vikings to victory, and we have a plan how to get that done, and that's all that really matters.
And your offense, of course, runs through Adrian Peterson. He threw it out there. He wants to run for 2,500 yards this season.
Yes.
What goes through your mind when you hear him toss that number out there?
Hey, it's Adrian Peterson. Everything's possible, but our goal is to win a world championship. And Adrian will be the first to tell you, Michelle, if we win a world championship and he gains 1,000 yards, nobody will be happier.
Coach, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
As for the 49ers, they signed Colt McCoy to be their number 2 quarterback, but he has not performed well this preseason. So tonight, after Colin Kaepernick, we're going to see 4 quarterbacks for the 49ers, including Seneca Wallace, who signed on Thursday night, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. So 5 different quarterbacks could play tonight for San Francisco. Jim Harbaugh in his 3rd year now, and the first 2 have been tremendous, to the NFC Championship game, to the Super Bowl. Came here after he left Stanford, and Harbaugh now in his 49ers ready to take on Minnesota, and Minnesota will get the ball first. Phil Dawson, who came over from Cleveland, he's in his 15th year, but kicking as well as ever, and one of their number 1 draft choices, they had 3, Cordero Patterson, out of Tennessee, spent 1 year there, and he ran the opening kickoff in the opening preseason game back 50 yards. So let's see what he does here on the sparkling early evening in San Francisco, and we begin with a touchback. Now coming out is Christian Ponder, who hasn't played very much during preseason. We'll see some action tonight, probably through the first half. We're going to see Adrian Peterson, but not a lot of him. Don't expect him to carry the ball. At least he's in uniform, and he'll be in the backfield. Jennings came over from Green Bay, Simpson on the other side. You've got Rudolph and Carlson, the double tight ends. And those are the guys up front. Sullivan, one of the best in the league. And, of course, when you have Adrian Peterson running behind you, you all look good. Khalil, their #1 pick last year. And they begin with a little bit of play action. And Ponder's going to go deep, something he doesn't do that often with success. And incomplete, intended for Greg Jennings. He's covered there by Eric Reed, San Francisco's #1 draft choice out of LSU.
One of the things they like to do in Minnesota is give you a run look. Look at all the tight ends over here. Make you believe here comes Adrian Peterson all night long, then go play action and throw one deep. That's what Minnesota could not do a season ago, Al, and you know it. Teams would come up, play that bump and run on them, and they could not beat them over the top.
Defense, of course, loading the box against Peterson. Again, don't expect him to carry the ball. Frazier telling us last night he's in for about 3 plays. They'll all be passes, and the first 2 are passes. And that one, Carlson is able to haul in and then fall on. Back of the line of scrimmage, Michael Wilhoit makes the tackle. So Adrian, who did not see any preseason action last year, coming off the torn ACL and MCL, made his debut last year on opening day against Jacksonville. And Peterson, who's going to come out now on 3rd down. So Leslie said maybe 3 plays, but it looks like he's going to play 2 tonight. And don't expect him to get back in there. Toby Gerhardt in right now.
Yeah, you said you wanted to play. There you go.
There you have it.
That's it.
That's Peterson's preseason right there. 3rd and 10 out of the gun. And a whistle sounds before the snap. Play is dead. Carl Cheffers is the referee, and he will give us the call.
First charge timeout, Minnesota.
So the Vikings take a timeout before the snap.
Timeout.
56 seconds into the ball game. Now the 49ers defense. You hear so much about their offense, but the defense outstanding as well. Justin Smith, who was hurt at the end of last season. Williams has won that nose tackle starting spot. Now you don't see Patrick Willis in the lineup tonight. There's Wilhoit in there, but Willis with a broken hand will be ready for the opener against Green Bay. Aldon Smith last year had more than half the team sacks. The one guy missing in the defensive secondary is Deshaun Goldson, went to Tampa Bay, and Eric Reed, who you saw covering Jennings on the first play of the game, is the guy that takes that spot. 3rd and 10 from the 20. And Ponder in traffic loses the ball, and the 49ers have recovered the ball at the 11-yard line. So an inglorious beginning. Aldon Smith winds up with the football in the middle of the action as well for the 49ers. A couple of linebackers getting through, putting the pressure on Ahmad Brooks is there, and there he is, causing the strip.
One of the problems, Phil Lodeholt is a load, and he's a guy that's a tremendous run blocker, helps Adrian Peterson a lot. If you get him in space, though, against some speed rushers, it can be a problem and give up the early turnover.
So Kaepernick now with 2 backs behind him on the 11. That's Gore and Bruce Miller in the backfield, and he'll roll to his right off the play fake, and nobody's open, so he throws it away. Pressure put on by Brian Robinson. It'll be 2nd and 10. Kaepernick started last season as the #2 quarterback in his 2nd year because Alex Smith was coming off a fine year. Smith sustained a concussion. Kaepernick got the start when Smith was ready to play again. Kaepernick was the man and took him all the way to New Orleans. Second and 10. And a little toss to Gore with 6,000-yard seasons on his worksheet. Stopped behind the line of scrimmage by Harrison Smith. So there is Gore. You got Miller as the blocking back. They brought Bolden in from Baltimore. Anquan Bolden. Marlon Moore, an interesting story. We'll get to him. And Vernon Davis, a great tight end. And then up front, Yapati and Davis, among those 5 right there, 2 #1 draft picks in the first round in 2010. And right now, that whole group playing extremely well. Great protection and leading the run game as well, as you look at Jared Allen. Coming off an injury-racked season, told us last night he feels great. 3rd and 11. Kaepernick dancing around, and then the pass is knocked down at the 10-yard line, knocked down by Kevin Williams, who gets his hand on a few passes from time to time. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah, Kevin Williams has made his reputation doing exactly that. Oh, right here, I'm sorry. Goalpost got in my way. And he's going to end up coming up. I think I was right the first time. When you get blocked, J.J. Watt showed the world a season ago. If you get blocked, stick your hands in the air, and sometimes good things happen for your defense.
Phil Dawson takes the place of David Akers, and the longtime Cleveland kicker bangs one home from 30 yards. The Foghorns denotes a 3-0 San Francisco lead. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Verizon. Never be without football with NFL Mobile. By Madden NFL 25 in stores Tuesday, rated everyone. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. And by the all-new 4-door 5-passenger Fiat 500L. A lot of wineries, of course, in this area up in Napa Valley. And this one, Joe Montana is the man in charge, has his own Cabernet. Of course, Joe, one of the all-time, not only 49er greats, but NFL greats.
I refuse to drink it.
That's right. You know him all too well from 1981.
2 times, yes.
Right.
49ers got me twice.
And 88. Kick taken in the end zone. This is Cordero Patterson. And they picked him at the end of the first round after trading up with New England. Takes the ball to the 15.
Here we go, Minnesota Viking fans. This is going to be as good as it gets right here. Adrian Peterson got 2 plays. His job was to not touch anybody. Mission accomplished on the first one and on the second one as well. If they could have put him in bubble wrap, that's exactly what they would have done. They wanted to get him out there, but not get him touched. And he has the rest of the night off, and he's shaking his head just a bit.
And preseason as well. They play Tennessee Thursday night in Minneapolis, and he won't see any action there. Toby Gerhardt, who played his college football at Stanford when Jim Harbaugh was the coach, takes it out to the 19-yard line for a gain of 4.
Yeah, Toby Gerhardt is a guy who was second in the Heisman balloting coming out, played for Jim Harbaugh at Stanford, and he is this is maybe his last year here. They were talking about how difficult it is to try and get running backs to come to Minnesota because nobody wants to sit behind Adrian Peterson.
Can't blame him.
Yeah.
2nd and 6. The ball is at the 19-yard line. Off play action. Stepping up is Ponder, and that's caught at the 21-yard line. And that's John Carlson who gets taken down about 4 yards shy of the first by Aldon Smith, 3rd year out of Missouri, the 49ers first-round pick in 2011.
And what a season he had a season ago with all those sacks. But what they're working on with him now is the ability to drop in coverage. And Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, says he's taking it very seriously. Yes, he wants to rush the passer at every opportunity, but he's really improved his overall game with his ability to drop back and cover.
3rd and 4, and that pass is a little too high. The coverage is very good. That's Jennings, who gets covered on the play by Brooks. So again, it's a 3 and out. The first 3 and out ended in a fumble, and this one will result in a punt. 4th down.
This defense is really tough. When you have 4 guys that made the all-pro team playing linebacker and a defensive line that's almost as good, tough night's work for Minnesota.
Jeff Locke, the left-footed kicker, picked in the 5th round of the draft, has a bounce at the 42 of the 49ers, and it is down there. And that's where San Francisco will take over for the 2nd time with the 49ers up 3-0 at home. You know, for the complete viewing experience, you can check out NBC Sports Live Extra on NBCSports.com. A lot of goodies. You see them right there. Check it out. 49ers second possession begins from the 43-yard line. Frank Gore flanking Kaepernick. And Kaepernick slinging it to the outside, and that pass is incomplete, intended for Marlon Moore. Let's take a look at the Vikings defense. Last year they were in the middle of the league defensively. Allen and Williams, of course, have been around a long time. Guyan and Robinson, a good man to rush from the outside. Aaron Henderson is in the middle there. Greenway is very, very solid. Marvin Mitchell, the other. And in the secondary, where Antoine Winfield has gone to Seattle, Robinson playing that spot right now. And then Harrison Smith comes off a real good rookie year. And a little toss to Chad Hill. Shovel play up to the 47-yard line, where he's tackled by Chris Cook.
That was a nice play by Chris Cook coming over. That thing looked like it was going to take off and be something. Man coverage. You see Cook chasing his guy in man coverage all the way across the field, and he ends up running him down. Chad Hall, I don't think, was expecting it. Cook coming all the way across the formation. They had blockers on everybody else, and that's a heck of a play.
3rd down and 7 with the ball at the 47-yard line. They've got Kendall Hunter in the game right now in the backfield. And a flag comes in. And we'll get the call in a moment from Carl Cheffers.
False start, number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Left guard Mike Iupati.
You know, one thing about this Minnesota defense, they should be better almost by default. Just the fact that Jared Allen is healthy again. You know, he had that shoulder injury throughout the year. He just really wasn't himself. Still had 12 sacks. That's the kind of player he is. Said he couldn't sleep almost all season, couldn't train the right way, but now he feels healthy, he feels good. That shoulder's been rehabbed, and he's excited about this season.
First part of his career with Kansas City. Now with Minnesota. Grew up in this area in Gilroy. 3rd down and 11, and Kaepernick is jostled as he throws it. Robinson comes in to knock it away. It'll be 4th down.
One of the nice things that Minnesota has going for it, they draft Xavier Rhodes, so you're seeing a lot of this man coverage across the board. You add that extra corner, and now you have a little more confidence to bring some pressure on the quarterback because you believe your guys can cover man-to-man, and that is a big step for a defense.
Andy Lee, one of the league's best punters. And that kick is fielded back at the 7-yard line. Bobby Felder trying to win the job as the run-back man, and that won't hurt. Out to the 37-yard line. Leslie Frazier saying, well, this is one of the guys he really wanted to take a pretty good look at tonight. He gave him a pretty good look right there.
Sure did.
Adrian Peterson last year with 2,097 yards. Now Jim Brown had the highest average per carry, 6.40. Barry Sanders 6.13. O.J. Simpson 6.03, and then Peterson 6.03. And look at that, Christian Ponder averaged only 6.08 yards per pass, which is down toward the bottom among starting quarterbacks. And Peterson averaged almost as much running the ball as Ponder did passing the ball.
Makes the choice easy, doesn't it? Just turn around. There you go, 28.
3rd series for Minnesota. The Vikings still trying to make something happen in preseason with their first unit offense. And a little toss back here to the #1 draft choice Patterson. And he gets wrapped up by 4 49ers as he crosses the 40-yard line. Justin Smith among those right there. Gain of 4.
You know, Cordell Patterson at Tennessee was a guy that could beat you in a lot of different ways. He scored a touchdown on a kickoff return, a punt return, a rushing touchdown, even threw a pass. Of course, a lot of them receiving. But he is one of those weapons that can take some pressure off of Christian Ponder, and I'm sure they're looking for all kinds of ways to get him the ball.
2nd and 6. Slings it to the outside. They get him the ball to the outside here, and he reaches across the line. We'll see where they spot it. Very close to a 1st down.
We had a chance to talk with him, Al, and he's kind of a fun-loving kid, isn't he?
Yes.
And it almost worked against him on draft day at the Combine. I kept hearing that teams were like, I'm not sure we want to draft him or not. He seems like he's a little bit, too fun-loving or whatever, and yet I enjoyed our conversation. I think he's a guy that enjoys playing football. He wants the ball in his hands, and certainly this team, maybe more than any other team, needs somebody who can catch a ball and make a big play running with it and maybe take the top off that defense, because they could not do that a season ago.
A couple of links shy of the first down, 3rd and inches coming up. Asked him last night, I said, Cordero, and that's the correct pronunciation with the accent on the second syllable. Is that a family name? He said, nope. My mom was watching the show. There was a hot guy by the name of Cord. So she put the Cord there, and then Daryl came later, and there you have it.
Had a relative named Daryl, and Cordero.
That's how you get to Cordero.
But he has an easy laugh about him. You can see him, the enthusiasm that he has for the game is, you need that in a locker room. You need guys with that kind of energy, and he loves it. He really does.
3rd and a couple of inches. And wrapped up before he can even come close to the line of scrimmage is Gerhardt. Justin Smith, 13th year out of Missouri, a lot of years in Cincinnati, and hurt at the end of last year, but looking like he's 24 years old tonight.
You cannot say enough good things about Justin Smith, and I'm sure Aldon Smith and his 19+ sacks a season ago is going to tell you the same thing. Justin Smith keeps blockers off of his linebackers. He does stunts. He'll grab guys. He'll set up other guys. Rarely gets the credit. Tremendous football player.
The rookie lock punting to the 15, and that's LaMichael James bringing it back to the 19-yard line. So the Vikings still without a first down. 3-0 49ers. Now the guys on top there are all the guys who are in uniform tonight. Anquan Bolden, of course, the most experienced, coming over from Baltimore, before that Arizona. Austin Colley's also here trying to win a spot. The two guys at the bottom, though, would be 1-2. Crabtree tore his Achilles in the spring. They hope to have him back by the end of November. Manningham tore up his knee last year, and they hope to have him back in October. So Crabtree, Manningham will not start the season with the 49ers. And thus a lot of the onus will be on Bolden as Gore takes the ball out to the 18-yard line. And then they want to find a couple of other guys to supplement that. And among other things, Chris, as we know, they open up with Green Bay, then they've got Seattle, then they've got Indianapolis. So it's a tough beginning of the season for them.
Yeah, and it really is. And for Colin Kaepernick, he's not going to get a chance to spend very much time at all with the receivers that he has. He's used to Mario Manningham, he's used to Crabtree, and yet because he's played so little in the preseason, they're trying to protect him. The timing may be an issue early in some of those big games.
2nd and 7, and again, big hole through the middle goes Kendall Hunter out to the 35-yard line. He had a torn Achilles, so he's coming back, and they like him, and they love LaMichael James as well, and Anthony Dixon can play fullback as can Miller, so they're set in the backfield. Gain of 15.
Big Alex Boone here, quite the story. A guy that really has just gotten better and better over the years. About the last 4 years, he's been a guy that just keeps improving his game. About 6'7", very rare for a guard that you see somebody that size, but they really believe he's one of the better guards in football right now.
Out of Ohio State is Boone. Kaepernick with a ton of time and slings it over the middle, and it's deflected and incomplete. Jamarcus Sanford got a hand on it, and as many of you know, watching Kaepernick last year, he throws with as much velocity as any quarterback in the league.
He's got that 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and he's not afraid to use it. The big difference when Kaepernick took over for Alex Smith a season ago was he drove the ball down the field much more than Alex Smith did. They had the exact same number of attempts a season ago overall, and yet almost double for Kaepernick throwing the ball at least 20 yards down the field.
Kaepernick, who's 1 for his first 6, is now 1 for 7, and that pass is incomplete. And this will be Kaepernick's final appearance of preseason, because the 49ers will wrap it up in San Diego on Thursday, and he doesn't figure to play a down.
Well, and you're only seeing half of the 49ers offense. I can't imagine they're going to do the read option stuff here tonight. They don't want to take a chance on Kaepernick getting hurt, obviously, because there is not a lot of confidence around here in the backup quarterback situation. So if they come out of preseason with Kaepernick healthy, I think they're going to consider this a success.
Colt McCoy for the moment #2, but he has a restructured contract right now, and the subject all day of trade rumors. 3rd and 10 as Kaepernick throws, and this one is on the money and into Minnesota territory. Quentin Patton, a rookie out of Louisiana Tech. They picked him up in the 4th round. Like him a lot. First down.
Pretty interesting story on Quentin Patton. He broke his finger and wasn't going to be able to practice, and Jim Harbaugh said, well, wait a minute now, what if we just wrap it up and he runs routes? He's a rookie, he needs to work. Just have him run routes, not catch the ball. He did that for 2 weeks, spent a week with one-handed catches, and now here he is ready to play.
From the 47, Kaepernick slings it, and that is a 9-yard gain as it's caught by Vernon Davis, the tight end. I tell you what, you have a broken finger. The last guy you want to have throwing the ball to you is Colin Kaepernick.
That's exactly right. But I think these guys anymore, they'll take balls any way they can get them. There's a lot of talent out here, and so for Quentin Patton, it's nice for him to be able to establish himself. And really, they need somebody to step up with Crabtree and Manningham out for the first couple months of the season at least. And it's wide open who his favorite target's going to be.
You can count on Davis, of course, the man who caught the last pass. It's a first down at the 37-yard line with 4 backs. Kaepernick slings it inside the 30, taking the ball to the 25-yard line, and that will be another first down is Vernon Davis.
Boy, if you're a 49ers fan, you have to love what you saw from Kaepernick on that one. Watch this. He's going to start going to his left. There's 1, didn't like it, comes to 2, doesn't like it, goes all the way back to 3. That's a guy who spent a lot of time studying this offseason, understands fully the offense, and he's getting great protection on the outside from Joe Staley, who I think finished last year as well as any tackle in the game. He was pitching shutouts left and right.
First down at the 26-yard line. Under 5 to play in the opening quarter. And Kaepernick escaping. Great mobility and finds Marlon Moore trying to win a spot. Not only that, trying to win a starting spot right now with the injuries among the wide receivers. And so the 49er fans at least feeling a lot better. Kaepernick was 1 for 7, and now he's 4 for his last 4.
Yeah, well, it helps having confidence when your quarterback is now looking to throw when he scrambles instead of looking to run. His eyes were up all the way down the field, and on the outside, here's Joe Staley again handling one of the great pass rushers in the NFL.
From the 11, Kendall Hunter is the running back, and Miller is the fullback. And nothing happening there as Desmond Bishop is trying to win a job as the starting outside linebacker, longtime Green Bay Packer, coming over, and he's in a fight right now with Marvin Mitchell for that outside linebacker job.
Yeah, the other 2 linebacker positions set, Aaron Henderson, Chad Greenway, but they are going to take a long look at Desmond Bishop tonight, and they need to find out, can he handle it when they're running right at him? The answer on that one was he sure can.
From the 13-yard line, and a slant taken there by Marlon Moore. Gets it to the 5. He's tackled there by Josh Robinson. It'll be 3rd and short.
How about this Marlon Moore? Comes over from Miami. Of course, Miami brings in all those free agent wide receivers, and Mike Wallace got all the big money there. So Moore wanted to come home. He's a Fresno kid. Got offers from other teams, but he knew where he wanted to go. He wanted to come to San Francisco, and he has impressed everybody in this game.
As Ted Ginn Jr.'s old number 19, Ginn gone. Randy Moss retired, and of course we talked about the injuries. 3rd down and 4 from the 5. And Kaepernick sliding away and then throwing for the touchdown. Quentin Patton. So Colin Kaepernick was 1 for 7 and then winds up 6 for 6. And everybody breathing a little easier. Not Leslie, though.
No, this is about as good as it gets. Your quarterback's on the move. You're rookie wide receiver makes a little adjustment in the back of the end zone, and you come away with a touchdown. And Al, without one single read option in the mix, Colin Kaepernick looked brilliant on that drive.
He did. Phil Dawson for the point after. And the 49ers, with a little more than 2.5 minutes left in the opening quarter, have moved out in front of the Minnesota Vikings 10-0 at Candlestick Park on this Sunday night. NBC Sports, the exclusive home for the Premier League. Tomorrow, two of the best teams face off as reigning champion Manchester United takes on Chelsea. Coverage begins tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern Time on the NBC Sports Network. One of the great sights in the world, one of the great engineering feats in the world, opened in 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge. Never get tired of looking at that.
It's a beautiful place here. Just absolutely gorgeous.
It's a gorgeous drive led by Colin Kaepernick as the Vikings still seeking a first down, and Patterson will run it back from out to the 22-yard line, make that A.J. Jefferson who runs the ball back to the 22. And let's go to Michelle.
Well, Al, the NFL has strict rules about when rookies can arrive at their new team's facilities, but Quentin Patton didn't know that. He bought himself a plane ticket to San Francisco, rented a car, and on his drive to the 49ers practice facility, called wide receivers coach John Morton, told him he was on his way. 5 minutes later, Morton called him back and said, "Pull over, stop driving." That was followed by a call from Jim Harbaugh, who basically said, "You can't come here or we'll all be in trouble." So Patton drove back to the airport and flew home, but his enthusiasm made a big impression.
It didn't. He must have been working on his dance moves as well. As you saw, there's Toby Gerhardt picks up about 3, and there's the smiling touchdown maker on the 49er sideline.
You know, when we were talking with Anquan Bolden about Quentin Patton, he just started laughing, which is a dead giveaway for this guy's the class clown. You know, and you could see after he scored it, he was ready with his dance. That was pretty good.
Second down and 7. And over the middle, Ponder fires to Greg Jennings, who makes the catch up at the 42-yard line. Greg Jennings, who had spent his entire career with the Green Bay Packers, 7 years out of Western Michigan, and when they sent Percy Harvin to Seattle, and he's hurt right now, hip injury, Jennings came over to take that spot in effect, even though Jennings is more of a possession receiver, shorter yardage than Harvin. And that's why they got Patterson to be the guy who can take, as Chris said, the top off the defense. Gerhardt picks up about 3.
You know, but the other thing with Christian Ponder as a quarterback, and don't forget who you've got playing running back. I mean, you're sitting there with Adrian Peterson, so you're going to get a lot of 8-man fronts, a lot of single coverage. So you don't always want to be able to take the ball and just throw it 50 yards down the field. So the feeling is that somebody like Greg Jennings can run a slant, can run a quick little route, catch the ball, break a tackle, and make a big play that way. But they have to have more big plays.
2nd and 7 from the 46. Pump fake and then to the outside, and trying to make a one-handed catch along the sideline is Burton, but he can't hold on. That's Stephen Burton, 3rd year out of West Texas A&M.
You know, and I've got to say this one's on Christian Ponder. This was a route that was perfectly timed, and Ponder, when he pump fakes this, if he lets it go, it's an easy completion. He just did not trust what Stephen Burton was going to do on the route, and there was no reason. And then it was late, so he had to try and hustle it and ended up leaving it high.
3rd and 7, and Ponder gets away. He's going to run for it. He's going to run for the first down and then step out of bounds. And a flag is thrown near the end of the play.
I think it was Kyle Rudolph blocking right at the point of attack. It really gave Ponder room to pick up the first down.
After the ball was dead, unnecessary roughness. Number 75, offense. The result of the play was a first down, so it'll be 1st and 10 after enforcement of the 15-yard penalty.
So they get the first down, but then Khalil comes in for the personal foul.
Yeah, right on the back end of the play when he was hustling down the field. You got to give him credit. Offensive lineman trying to hustle down the field and make a play. But just as Ponder was going out of bounds, everybody seemed to stop. And then Michael Wilhoit ended up getting one in the back. And the first down goes the other way.
I don't know. What do you think on that call?
It's preseason.
Yeah. That we know.
Start getting grumpy when the regular season gets here.
From the 41-yard line. And it's Gerhard again for a gain of 2 as we get down to the final half minute of the opening frame.
Adrian Peterson, I tell you, get a chance to talk to him at halftime. It was fun visiting with him a little bit. Remarkable. I mean, I don't know that we've ever seen anything like it in the National Football League. For him to just get on the field was amazing. And then to run for almost a record-breaking number of yards, 2,097, I think it was.
8 shy of tying Eric Dickerson's long-standing mark of 21:05, and that takes us to the end of the first quarter. We score San Francisco 10, Minnesota nothing, and Sunday Night Football resumes after these messages. Aerial coverage tonight is being brought to you by Geico. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge, connecting San Francisco to Marin County on this beautiful early Sunday evening. Second quarter, 10-0 49ers. 2nd and 9 for the Vikings. Off play action. Ponder escaping and stepping away from the tackle and then sliding down at the 44-yard line. He was chased by Ahmad Brooks.
Well, one of the stories for the San Francisco 49ers, not a lot of changes on that defense, but Eric Reed comes in for the hard-hitting Deshaun Goldson, and he goes, look, I know I've got big shoes to fill. That guy was an all-pro. He was a great player, teamed up with Dante Whitner. He gets it, but this is his first start, and it's hard to imagine that he's going to end up giving this thing back to Craig Dahl.
And Ponder on 3rd and 8 finds the open man at the 41, Jerome Simpson. Got position on Whitner, and they convert on 3rd down and long.
I'll tell you, that was a nice throw that time by Christian Ponder. He was kind of off balance, it looked like a little bit, and he had to get it up and over the guy we were just talking about, Eric Reed, so he just put a little touch on it, lobs it in there, and picks up the first down. There's a good matchup, huh? Matt Khalil, the Pro Bowler, going against Justin Smith.
Down. Ready. What's hot?
From the 40. And Ponder buys time and then hits Gerhard. And Toby will pick up the first down, avoiding a Wilhoit tackle for a gain of 11.
Well, Aldon Smith, everybody thinks about him as being a speed rusher, but when he decides to lower the boom, he can do that and take some of these big tackles directly backwards. Luckily, Khalil able to recover on that one, but what a job he did rushing the passer a season ago. It was amazing, though, during the course of the playoffs, and I think the final 3 games, no sacks. He got to like 19.5 sacks and got none the last 6 of the year.
Now the handoff to Matt Asiata, his first carry of the night, to the 24-yard line. He'd be the number 3 running back, and some action after the tackle, and thus a flag comes in.
I saw Navarro Bowman, looked like Matt Khalil involved, and just one of those into the play, somebody pushes, like being on the playground, you know, somebody pushes you, you got to push them back, and then when the third pushing ends up pushing, then the ref throws a flag, and usually they go right offsetting. And
This preseason.
After play was over, unnecessary roughness, number 75 offense, for unnecessarily contacting an opponent. It'll be 2nd down after enforcement of the 15-yard penalty.
Well, that's 30 yards of penalties assessed against Khalil tonight.
Khalil has the most yards of anybody so far. There we go. There's a little thing at the end, and then Khalil comes in. Look at that. He barely even pushed him, but he was defending. They were going to let all right, you pushed, and then Khalil, the third person, comes in. Well, they like hockey, you come in off the bench, and then you get thrown out of the league forever, something like that.
No, not quite forever. 2nd and 20
Khalil got thrown out of this one.
Yeah, for the moment. Nice to see the teacher. And it's a 5-yard gain here as Gerhardt gets wrestled out of bounds by Rogers. And another
holding
flag here
number
for holding.
71 offense. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That's the other tackle. That's the right tackle. That's Load hold, and now Khalil comes back in after being kept after school.
That time Phil Loadholt kind of got pushed backwards a little bit, and as he was trying to recover ends up grabbing, and they catch that. This Minnesota offense isn't good enough to go forwards and backwards all night like this. So far they've been able to recover.
Now let's see what they call on a 2nd and 30. Not a lot of stuff in the book for that. From the 49-yard line. Trying to get a few of those yards back on a pass to John Carlson. Of about 5. Will Hoyt makes the stop. Patrick Willis with that broken hand, one of the great linebackers in the league, 6 straight Pro Bowls, and he is ready for action in 2 weeks. They'll open up in 2 weeks here against the Green Bay Packers.
He's had some issues with that hand in the past, so I'm sure they're going to be very cautious with him. But what a dynamic duo they are in the middle. When Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman are in there together, they can play man coverage on just about anybody.
3rd and 26, and that pass will take them to the 35-yard line. Stephen Burton making the grab. They'll bring in the punt group, and we go to Michelle.
Well, I spoke with Patrick Willis before the game, and he was really non-committal about when he thought he'd be able to return. He said he was, quote, hopeful, very hopeful that he'd be back in time for the opener, but he was simply listening to doctor's orders and waiting for them to check on it. He has played with a cast before on that right hand. He had broken a finger in college and said that is a possibility again, Al.
And of course they will need him at the beginning of the season with how tough that schedule is, Michelle. And this is Locke kicking and tries to put some backspin on it and does it beautifully. The rookie punter out of UCLA kicking end over end, and it's down at the 2. 49ers take the ball there.
After a bit of a slow start for Colin Kaepernick, he came out smoking in his last drive of preseason, I'm sure. Standing in the pocket, delivering it nicely to Quentin Patton, his young receiver, the rookie, and then he starts to move around a little bit, gets a little pressure, eyes down the field, this time finds Marlon Moore, and then one more move out of the pocket and finds the dancing machine, Quentin Patton again.
And Colin done for the night. It is McCoy in, and he hands the ball off to Kendall Hunter, who just about gets back to the line of scrimmage. Now, we talked early on, and Michelle alluded to it at the very beginning. McCoy trying to win the job as the number 2 quarterback, which they assumed he would when they signed him from Cleveland. But now they got Seneca Wallace. We're going to see him tonight. Scott Tolzien is in the mix as well. And then they've got the 7th round draft choice, B.J. Daniels, who could make the team as well. But we'll see who backs up Kaepernick when the season starts. Anthony Dixon to the 5. The one thing, of course, some of the fans want to know, well, why didn't they keep Alex Smith? You couldn't keep Alex Smith. He was making $8 million. So there was no way you have an $8 million backup quarterback, and off he went to Kansas City.
Well, except on this team, they're spending peanuts on quarterbacks. This has to be, in the history of the NFL, the lowest paid group of quarterbacks, because they can't negotiate with Colin Kaepernick for an extension until he finishes his 3rd year. So I would imagine he has a humongous insurance policy on him this season.
Report today that McCoy restructured his contract down. He's also, according to some, on the trading block as Marlon Moore takes it up to the 14. And who knows at this point in the season, you look at the New York Jets and what happened to them last night with Sanchez getting hurt and Geno Smith throwing a couple of picks and stepping out of the end zone. And who knows who comes after who with 2 weeks to go until the season starts.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. There's Trent Baalke, the general manager. I don't think there's any question that Colt McCoy is the most ready to play right now within this offense. But is the answer long term? Tonight's the night for Colt McCoy.
And a double spin move by LaMichael James, who played his college football under Chip Kelly at Oregon. and he picks up 4.
Now you're a smart guy. What would you do? I mean, here we got a situation. We've never seen a team that is going fully committed to this style, read option, movement, quarterback, that kind of an offense. We've seen starters, but we've never seen it go down the line with backups and with the third quarterback. And the 49ers have a chance to do that with Seneca Wallace if they want.
That's one of the reasons they brought him in. He can run the same style of offense. We'll see him before the night is done on 2nd and 6. And that pass is dropped by Garrett Selleck. But the one thing, too, Chris, is that, people say, okay, the quarterback can get hurt. We know that. But last year, 20 of the 32 quarterbacks in the National Football League, 20 of the starters started all 16 games. And a bunch of them started, 14 or 15 games. So it wasn't that many teams that had to go to the bench.
But the interesting part of it is if you don't play Colin Kaepernick full out because you feel like you've got to protect him and you're not comfortable with your backup quarterback, you're really limiting what he's capable of doing, and he knows it too. In high school, he actually had negative yards rushing because they didn't want to ever obviously play without him, so they told him don't run. Well, obviously Jim Harbaugh doesn't want to get to that point with him because he has so many skills and so much ability. And yet, if they don't find that backup that they have great faith in, then that's what you do. You say, all right, let's pull it back a little bit and maybe not do so many of those read options.
Agreed. I mean, you can see why the fan base is a little nervous. And after Hall makes that catch, Michael James picks up 9 up to the 34-yard line.
Now we've got good tight ends in this game. Here's Garrett Selleck, his brother Brent Selleck, a tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles. Good down block there. And there's good running backs on this San Francisco 49ers team too.
Very deep in that area on 2nd and 2. And McCoy, who was a big star in college, he was 45-8 as a starter at Texas and went to Cleveland and came here for 5th and 7th round picks. And there they are in preseason. McCoy and Tolzien with 12 drives, 4 punts, no touchdowns. BJ Daniels has looked pretty good, but he's a 7th round pick and he's green and all of that, so we'll see.
BJ Daniels fits the mold, though. I mean, he can run it. I thought he looked really good when he got in the game in the preseason game this past week, but he's not ready. I mean, there's no way that you're going to come into this complex offense and be ready in 3 weeks.
And McCoy's going to take off and pick up the first down on a 3rd and 5. Running it out to the 36-yard line.
You see Colt McCoy clapping his hands. He understands fully what this is all about. He's already been apparently asked to take a pay cut in order to stay. He said, okay, I want to be here. I don't blame him. And really what I've seen from Colt McCoy so far this preseason, the best thing he's done is run the football. So he's capable of doing that. And he's fired up. He wants to be here.
From the 37 and wrapped up is James, who cannot get out of the backfield. That's Fred Evans, been around for a while, 7th year out of Texas State San Marcos.
There's big Fred Evans right there. They've got their 2 nose tackles. He and LaTroy Guion are going to be the guys that in there, but tonight a guy by the name of Chase Baker is going to get a long look because of the injury to Sharif Floyd. They don't want to wear out Kevin Williams.
On 2nd and 13, and that is intercepted at the 40-yard line. That's Chad Greenway, and the Viking linebacker was right there to take it to the 28. And Colt McCoy, after a promising start to this drive, walks off dejectedly. Viking ball. Sunday Night Football brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. By Corona, inviting you to find your beach this football season. And by Toyota Care, complimentary on every new Toyota. There it is, Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, about a 45-minute drive south of here. Silicon Valley, home of the 49ers, beginning next season. And Super Bowl 50 will be played there in a couple of years as well. The new home of the Niners. They've been here at Candlesticks in '71. And a little short pass out to Gerhardt. Tackled at the line of scrimmage, and we go back to the pick.
Well, Chad Greenway here is going to fool Colt McCoy. He comes in, fakes the blitz. He's going to drop out late. And the guy that's led this team in tackles 5 straight years and voted by his teammates the defensive MVP makes young Colt McCoy look bad.
Ready? 1
Second and 10. Gerhardt, big hole through the middle. Exploits it for a first down to the 16-yard line. Eric Reed makes the tackle. 4.5 to go until halftime.
Well, that's a good tackle that time by Eric Reed, and that's what you want to see. Yes, he can cover, can run, he's above the line on a lot of those sort of statistical things. Here he is right there, I believe. And in the middle of the field, as a safety, you have to be able to make those tackles. Maybe not the hitter that Deshaun Goldson is, but good enough there.
Again, Gerhardt, this time he gets tripped up as he takes the football and picks up a yard.
I think that was Dan Skuta out there playing outside linebacker. He's sort of a special teams ace, but they've taken him outside now and taken a look at him, and he's shown a little bit of ability to rush the passer, but that was a good power move right there. He went right through the blocker and tripped up the ball carrier.
49ers now with their basic second unit defense for the most part in the game. Second and 8, just inside the 15-yard line. And Ponder packing it in and out of bounds. Hustled out by Harrelson. It's 3rd and 7.
No picnic going against this second unit defense of San Francisco either. We watched the tape watching them against Kansas City, and they tore Kansas City up with their second unit. Here's Cordero Patterson on the outside, their deep threat. I believe that's Tremaine Brock, who is currently the number 3 corner because of the injury to Chris Culliver.
3rd and 7, Vikings spread it out, going 5 wide. And Ponder hangs in the pocket, then throws, and the pass, a flag is thrown, for the moment incomplete. Jennings was there, but Parrish Cox, if he gets the penalty, will make it 1st down and goal.
That's the reason you have veteran receivers.
Number 20, defense. That foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. 1st down.
Once you get behind a defender, you are allowed as a receiver to come back to the ball. Greg Jennings, the veteran, watch him. He's going to go right through Parrish Cox, draw the flag. Absolutely what he should be doing. Jim Harbaugh, we saw him kind of doing a little of that at the end of the Super Bowl too, didn't he? Wasn't too happy with the call. Good play by Jennings. So he's not going to show up in the scorebook, but he may be credited with a touchdown here.
Asiata, the tailback, on the 1st and goal. Off play action, and it's flipped for a touchdown to Zach Line. His 2nd of preseason, rookie out of SMU, 2nd leading rusher in SMU history. Number 1, of course, would be Eric Dickerson, and the Vikings get on the board.
You know, Zach Line is playing fullback, and he was nothing but a one-back running back when he was in college, so he's trying to learn how to play this fullback position, but we've already seen him with a long touchdown catch and run earlier this preseason. Comes up with his 2nd.
Extra point by Walsh is good. Felton is their Pro Bowl fullback, but he's hurt. They do expect him back on opening day. For the moment, it's Line getting into the end zone to make it 10-7 49ers. Here's a question. How many Super Bowls did the 49ers win during the 1980s? You're going to watch the million-second quiz hosted by Ryan Seacrest for more questions like this and the biggest prize in game show history. It starts September the 9th, a Monday night, right here on NBC. Here's the kick, fielded 5 yards in, and this is Lavelle Hawkins. And he's out past the 40, and he's out in front of everybody, and all the way he goes for 105 yards. But a flag is down. Flag down. Flag is down deep downfield. It's down to the 4-yard line. Could be a little taunting, I think, on him. We'll see. And Harbaugh is going to come out to get further clarification and also to have a word with Mr. Hawkins.
In order to be taunting, and Harbaugh is going to say, what are you doing? That's our football, not your football. You make a great play. I mean, this really is a nice run. And at the end,
there are multiple unsportsmanlike conduct fouls on number 4 of the scoring team. Firstly, he pointed the ball at his opponent, taunting him. That penalty is declined. He then removed his helmet. That penalty is accepted, 15 yards on the kickoff.
Well, that'll throw a little cold water on it when your coach has you come over and you get chewed out.
Yeah, but he'll take it, you know. It's like, okay, I can teach him not to do that. The other part's hard to teach. I didn't think he really taunted him. I've got to say, I thought that he's saying my fault, so maybe he felt like he did. But he didn't really like turn and point and stick the ball right in the face of a defender. He kind of stuck it sideways, got the call, and I'm sure the officials love doing that in preseason so they don't have to do it during the regular season.
And then he took his helmet off, and that's a guaranteed foul. And the extra point is good. So the penalty will be assessed on the kickoff with 2:45 remaining in the opening half. 105 yards for Hawkins, and it's 17-7. Carrie Underwood waiting all day for Sunday night, as are we, and that's what you're going to see in a couple of weeks. On Sunday Night Football, we'll be in Texas for the Giants and the Cowboys, and before that, 3 nights prior on a Thursday night, September 5th, we'll be in Denver when it counts as the Ravens, the Super Bowl champions, go in to meet the Broncos to get the 2013 season started. After the Hawkins run back, the kick here is fielded at the 9-yard line. This is A.J. Jefferson taking it out to the 35-yard line, and we check in with Michelle.
Well, Vikings right cornerback Chris Cook, who started this game and is listed, of course, as a starter, has a groin injury. He is done for the night, Al.
And there he is on the sideline. So, again, with the injury to him and with Antoine Winfield having gone to Seattle, some question marks.
You know, for Chris Cook, for a variety of reasons, which I won't get into all the details here, he has not been able to stay on the field. So the hope is he'll be able to come back. His talent never an issue. It's a matter of whether he can stay out there.
And the handoff here goes to Asiata as we kick down to the 2-minute warning. Picks up a couple. Leslie Frazier in his 3rd full year as the head coach. Frazier played with the Chicago Bears. His career ended with an injury in the Super Bowl rout of New England. Coached at Trinity International University. Started their football program and was there for 9 years in the late 80s and early 90s. Deflected and intercepted by C.J. Spillman. A deflected pass and a 49er interception, and Ponder with the pick here.
That's not on Christian Ponder, though. Stephen Burton stopped on the route. This is a slant. You've got to finish it. You might get hit. He stops. Ball's thrown exactly where it should have been thrown, tipped up in the air, and C.J. Spillman made the play. But he is in a battle, Stephen Burton is, with Joe Webb for that final receiving spot, and that one does not help. He's played well this preseason, but that was bad.
Came up short. Asamoah with the deflection, and now the 49ers have the ball at the 44-yard line. And McCoy will hand the ball an inside handoff to LaMichael James. He takes it to the 41, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to the half, 17-7 49ers.
You got to accept it for what it is. You can't, keep going back on what if I would have did this or what if I would have did that, basically feeling sorry for yourself. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be obstacles that you're going to have to clear, but get back up, stay focused on what you want to accomplish, and it'll come.
Adrian Peterson talking about what he tells guys who seek his counsel, who have to undergo big-time surgery, as the pass is incomplete here, intended for Moore. So we'll have the interview with Adrian coming up at halftime.
Al, this is a big drive for Colt McCoy. We know that these other quarterbacks are going to get a chance to play in the second half. They're going to look at everybody, and a little 2-minute drill here with great field position. He needs to convert this.
3rd down and 7. And the quick throw over the middle is caught, but not enough for a first down. Flag is thrown. Quentin Patton scored the earlier touchdown for the 49ers. Makes the catch here. And flag down at the 37. And another one at
Personal
the 36.
Foul, face mask, number 21, defense. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. Automatic, first down.
Josh Robinson, second-year man out of Central Florida.
Yeah, that was a big conversion no matter how it happened. There you see the face mask. Josh Robinson, a guy that was the fastest guy at the combine, is now being called upon to fill some big shoes. I think Antoine Winfield is going to be the slot corner, and that is an important job in the National Football League right now. You see a lot of the Wes Welkers of the world in there.
3 personal fouls on the Vikings in this half. And getting wrapped up is James Chad Greenway, who had the interception on the last drive, making the stop behind the line of scrimmage.
Hard to fool Chad Greenway. Here's a guy that led the team in tackles a season ago and for the last 5 years. Here comes Greenway right over the top of Joe Staley. Tried to get back in there, but he just diagnosed that. That's a word you hear when you're talking about linebacker play a lot.
Number 1 pick was Greenway back in 06 out of Iowa. And McCoy gets to the 22-yard line where Audie Cole makes the stop. 1:10 and ticking down. And it will be 3rd down and 11.
Very nearly a little collision. Sometimes the pass rushers are more dangerous to each other than they are to the quarterback when they both take that wide path. And Robeson and Jared Allen there.
3rd and 11. 4-man rush to the outside, much too high for Chad Hall. I mean, Hall is 5'8". Even if he was 6'8", that would have been tough to bring down. 4th down.
LeBron's not getting that one. He's wide open. I think it's the right decision. Had a lot of space out here, but you could see he didn't have his feet really set. Tried to do a quick little move out there, and it's going to be an uncomfortable night tonight for Colt McCoy.
A 40-yard attempt here for Phil Dawson. Andy Lee puts it down, and the new 49er kicker with a flag thrown. Foghorn
holding, number 88.
Despite
offense,
it going off.
10-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
Unring that foghorn. It's Garrett Selleck with the penalty.
I don't know that it makes any difference to Phil Dawson. This has got to be the most unbelievable stat I've ever heard for a preseason game. The 2 kickers in this game a season ago were 17 for 17 from 50 yards or more. I mean, how could that happen?
One, a rookie, that's Blair Walsh of Minnesota. The other in his 15th year, Dawson.
In Cleveland kicking.
In Cleveland. 50-yard attempt here. And
Told you.
No problem. Yeah, there you go.
That could end up at the end of the year being the most important acquisition this team made. There's no question. David Akers had some injuries, had some issues kicking a season ago. If he has anywhere close to the kind of year that he had a season ago, he's going to be a difference maker. 29 for 31 last year and 7 for 7 from 50 yards or more, and 14 of his last 15 from 50 yards or more over the last 2 years.
These kickers get better with age.
I said to him on the field, I said, all right, tell me why you came. And he goes, are you kidding me? Why not? You know, he's coming to a contender, or he's coming to some nice weather. Or he's excited to be here.
And there's Blair Walsh out of Georgia, who won the job last year and had a spectacular season, good enough to go to the Pro Bowl. Tonight he's been limited to 1 extra point attempt. As the 49ers have pretty much dominated, leading by a score of 20-7 with 27 seconds. Stephen Burton back to return the kick. At the 5. And he gets tripped up at the 18-yard line by C.J. Spillman. Adrian Peterson had that great year, but what about the following year? Take a look at that. After 2,000 yards 1 year, O.J. Simpson 1125. Eric Dickerson, after his record-setting year, a little more than 1,200. Barry Sanders almost 1,500. That's pretty good. Terrell Davis got hurt very early on in the '99 season, and then Jamal Lewis had only about half the total the following year. Chris Johnson not bad in 2010. So people expect Adrian Peterson, can you do it again? He's talking about 2,500. But there's a little bit of a look at the history.
You want to tell him he can't do it?
No.
No,
because otherwise he'll shake my hand twice as hard. We've talked about it in the past as Asiata gets to the 20. Buyer beware when you shake hands with Adrian Peterson and you don't know what's coming, you could go to your knees. That's going to take us to halftime. With the score at Candlestick Park, the San Francisco 49ers 20. The Minnesota Vikings 7. Coming up next, we'll enjoy the halftime show after these messages from your NBC station. Postcard view, San Francisco on this early Sunday evening. Halftime score is 20-7. Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth now. The read option, of course, became a big deal in San Francisco and in Washington, Seattle, and Carolina, of course, with Cam Newton. But the defenses now have had all offseason to look at it. What do you think is going to happen this year against the read option?
Let's take a look at it with the Burger King inside edge. What do you say? We have a lot of different ways. Originally, teams would sort of sit back. You know, this read option, they leave the in-man on the line of scrimmage unblocked. But if he happens to lose track of the football, which the Packers did on several occasions here, and Kaepernick gets around that edge, it is awfully tough because you have that extra blocker inside. Now, what Terrell Suggs and the Baltimore Ravens did in the Super Bowl is they said, okay, forget all that. We're just going to come after Colin Kaepernick and hit him on every play. And that's what I'm hearing from a lot of teams this year. Unfortunately, Frank Gore took off and ran for over 100 yards. So that's tonight's Burger King Inside Edge. Check out more insights from tonight on NBC Sports Live Extra.
Well, the rules have been tweaked a little bit. So who better than Dean Blandino, who is the vice president of officiating for the NFL, who we have on the phone. We'll talk to Dean throughout the season when something really complex takes place. Dean, first of all, at what point does the quarterback lose quarterback protection and he becomes a running back?
Well, I think that's a good question, Alan. And the key point is that the quarterback does not get special protections at all times throughout the play. It's when he becomes a passer, that's when he gets the special protections, whether it's roughing the passer or defenseless player protection. So it's really the posture that he presents that dictates the protection that he gets.
So if he goes into the read option mode like we're seeing here, defenders can come and take out the quarterback, whether it be high, low, or wherever.
He's considered a runner at that point. So just like a running back that has the football, defenders can hit him. They have to have the ability to wrap up and go low because he is considered a runner at that point. He has not presented a passing posture.
Dean, the other day we were talking to Colin Kaepernick, and he was of a mindset that, and maybe it was being told to him by somebody else, that Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and drop-back quarterbacks would have a different sort of protection than he would have because people know what he does, and guys like Russell Wilson and Griffin. But isn't justice blind in this case, or am I wrong?
No, justice is blind. That's not the case, and I've been in contact with Coach Harbaugh since then, and I think it's just a misinterpretation of the rule. Whether it's Tom Brady or Colin Kaepernick, it's really their posture is gonna dictate the protection. So what we're telling the quarterbacks, what they're doing is, after the ball leaves their hand, if they're standing still or fading backward, then they can't be unnecessarily contacted, whether it's a read option fake or a play action fake.
Dean, thank you so much. Won't be the last time we'll be talking to you this season. Be well.
You're welcome, guys.
Okay. Dean Blandino, the Vice President of Officiating, who'll join us whenever something really complex comes up this season, discussing the read option situation.
You know, and I think the simplest way to think about this is that the quarterback often is the passer, but he's not always. I mean, if you're running a reverse pass to the wide receiver and he becomes the passer, he then gets the protection. But as long as it is a running style play, both the quarterback and the running back, beware.
Meanwhile, the second half begins with Vance McDonald, a rookie out of Rice, picking up 15 on the pass from McCoy. The left side of the screen, Chris, would be no protection.
Exactly.
Right,
once you get into that read option mode, you're not protected, but the minute you come back and look like a passer, you are protected.
And then you got McCoy handing the ball off to James, swinging to the outside, and gets bunched up along the sideline as he fights for a yard or two extra. Kaepernick last year in the read option, when he kept it, he averaged almost a first down per carry. He had 4 touchdowns as well. When he handed it off, the backs gained almost 5 yards a carry, and the league average is about 4.2, so that was very good. Play action passes, he threw only 1. McCoy to the outside and to Dixon, and Dixon is able to pick up the first down as he gets to the 47-yard line.
Now, I do think there's a danger in what I'm hearing from everybody, how they're going to play the read option this season, and that is if you come hard off the edge and try and go get the quarterback on every snap, are you going to talk them out of that play? You might, but you're also leaving sort of a two-way go over top of the double team, inside or outside, to run the ball. And as we saw in the Super Bowl, Frank Gore lit them up pretty good when they tried to do that.
That's the choice you have to make as James takes it to the 49-yard line, but Suggs was able to get into the, as you described earlier, into that 49er backfield a lot and put a few licks on Kaepernick.
Well, that's what Jared Allen was telling us last night too. He goes, we don't care. I'm just going to keep hitting them out there. Believe me, they're going to quit calling that play. You think they're going to let Colin Kaepernick take those kinds of shots all year? They don't really care where the guy runs with the football. They're just going to go take their licks.
Certainly not going to run that play a lot unless they find a good backup quarterback. Yeah. 2nd and 5, and the pass is caught here by John Baldwin, who just came over in a trade with Kansas City. Speaking of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, here it is. Suggs coming off the edge. You can see he had no interest whatsoever in the running back, going right for Kaepernick. And believe me, it got inside his head. I was there. I was watching this game, and he started backing up. And apparently, according to Dean, they're saying that if you are sort of moving backwards, they're going to give you some unnecessary roughness kind of protection, but not passer protection.
And there's McCoy to the 38-yard line and a penalty.
Holding, number 63, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
I tell you, I find it really interesting that they came out with Colt McCoy here in the second half. They want to get a good long look. This is decision time for the 49ers, and they want to give Colt McCoy every opportunity. You know, he hasn't been there that long either. And this is a complex offense. They do a lot at the line of scrimmage. They do run pass. They do left, right. It's not easy to walk into this offense.
Almost like an audition. 1st and 20 from the 47-yard line. And McCoy with another marker down. Tackled there by Williams.
Holding, number 69, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So back-to-back holding calls here.
Kenny Wiggins on the outside is looking at it a all-pro, and he said, I know how I can get him. Hopefully I don't get caught. Not a ton of holding on that one, but enough, I suppose. And now Colt McCoy's task a little tougher because the first string offensive line no longer in there.
Yeah, Wiggins, the backup. Anthony Davis looking at Allen saying, what are you doing in the game? 1st and 30, and the pass is caught, and spinning away is Patton. And he gets popped there by Robinson, and we'll check in with Michelle.
I just spoke with Jim Harbaugh on the field. He told me he saw improvement out of Colt McCoy. He thought he sustained a couple of decent drives, and that's why he has him starting here in the second quarter. He wants to get a better look, as you said, Chris, but he definitely seemed impressed by the improvement of Colt McCoy.
He must have been pretty bad before then.
Right. Maybe been Kaepernick. 2nd and 24. And James will spin it back the other way and go nowhere. Gets enveloped. Meanwhile, you saw Baldwin make a catch earlier. Meanwhile, you've got Kevin Williams, who's still in the game right now, the longtime defensive tackle. And he is down on the grass at the 44-yard line.
Boy, that is exactly what they did not want to have happen out here.
Pretty scary when we went to commercial, but at least Williams was able to walk off under his own power. Very, very valuable man, 11th year and playing into the second half.
Right there is Kevin Williams, and Joe Looney goes low for no apparent reason. One of the dangers of playing those starters against backups, sometimes they feel like they've got to do a little extra to compete.
Now on 3rd and 31, Michael James gets across the 40-yard line, and San Francisco will punt.
Now it's interesting. That was, I don't think that was, but it was close. We've got that new rule this year about those peel back blocks when you're going back towards the defense's end zone. You're not allowed to block low. Of course, Brian Cushing sustained that injury last year, and they're not going to allow that anymore. Not sure that one fit in that category, though.
Andy Lee to punt. Leslie Frazier, one of the starters, playing at least one series in the second half, and it almost turned out to be a disaster for the defense. Bobby Felder had a good run back in the first half, and this one takes the ball to the 22-yard line. Vikings will have it for the first time in the second half, with San Francisco up by 13 at Kansas City. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Burger King, where taste is king. By Hyundai, new thinking, new possibilities. And by the Samsung Galaxy S4, the next big thing is here. Boudin Bakery. Sourdough bread, that's where you can get it. Making it since 1849. You folks, as Christian Ponders remains in the game. And the pass is low as he had the heat put on him. 2nd and 10.
That was a good low ball, because if that one were thrown correctly, Trenton Robinson might have had him a pick 6. Luckily, this ball gets one hopped. Robinson has this one measured all the way. A little Diane Quayle coming out of there, and I think he's going to pick it off and go.
Ponder 10 of 15, 68 yards. Asiata, the second-year back from Utah, the number 3 running back, out to the 28-yard line. Christian Ponder playing into the second half. He won't play at all in their final game this week in Minnesota. So what do you think going into the regular season, Chris?
You know, they haven't done a whole lot on offense the entire preseason. I think they had 5 drives coming into this game, and you'd really like to see a little more out of this passing attack.
Well, showing a little bit as to what he can do with his legs as he picks up the first down after fielding the high snap.
He is a good athlete. He can be a scrambler, and what I'm seeing this game that's better out of him is he's stepping up and through the pocket. In the last couple of preseason games, he kept scrambling right and sort of cutting the field in half, and they've really been on him all week in practice to stop that. You're a good athlete, step up in the pocket, and if you're going to run straight ahead.
Pocket begins to break down, and that pass is caught up at the 40-yard line for a gain of 6. As Simpson pulls it in, it'll be 2nd down and 4.
And we have essentially the starting offense of the Minnesota Vikings in there against backups on the other side. But here he does a good job. First couple preseason games, he would have been out of here. Here he tries to work the pocket, pretty good protection, gets a completion out of it. You can live with 2nd and 4. That's pretty good.
Yep, picked up 7. They gave him an extra yard. 2nd down and 3 now from the 41-yard line. And that's caught. Kyle Rudolph, Pro Bowl MVP for a first down to the 47. Christian Ponder, go back to last year. He had 14 touchdown passes from inside the 10-yard line, ranked near the head of the class in the NFL. But no touchdown passes longer than 20 yards. And 483 total passes. Second most in the history of the league without a TD pass longer than 20. You got to go back to Jim Everett in 1991 with the Rams. And this is Asiata up to the 48. You know, we talked about, Chris, the tough 49er schedule early in the season. For the Vikings, they open at Detroit. Then they go to Chicago. So right off the bat, you got 2 on the road. Home, except the home game is in London against Pittsburgh.
What Leslie said there might be a little black and gold in that stadium over there when we're there. So, you know, you have Adrian Peterson, you always have a chance. But I'm sure he would love to see this passing game perk up here a little bit.
And that pass is caught in 49er territory by Greg Jennings, who gets the ball to the 46-yard line, which will make it 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, and this may be the formula for these guys. You know, sometimes as an offense, you have to kind of reel in the defense a little bit before you can get to the big play. So you hit a lot of little passes underneath, check down, high percentage. You've got Adrian Peterson still. And then they start coming up and thinking they've got to take that away. Then you hit them over the top.
Bill Musgrave, offensive coordinator, used to play in San Francisco. 3rd and 2. He's the play caller. Ponder will throw into traffic and incomplete. And a flag is thrown, though, as Tremaine Brock and Patterson were there. And we'll see who gets the call here. It will be against the 49ers. There's Carl Johnson, who until last year was the head of officiating.
Number 26, defense, automatic, first down.
Tremaine Brock.
I don't think Tremaine Brock agrees with it. Looked like a pretty good defensive play. We'll see if he comes over the back. Cordero Patterson there. Oh, boy. That's rough. Yeah, it's the toughest call in football. Maybe he thought he grabbed him. If you grab with the right hand and turn, that's a penalty. So maybe that's what they thought they saw.
Thought they saw a putty cat.
Yeah.
1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. And too much time as the play clock expires.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
You know, Leslie was saying last night, he said, look, you know, I tell Ponder, forget about his statistics, which is a good thing.
Yep.
He's the kind of quarterback we need in this system. And of course, when you have 28 running the football, he's probably right.
Yeah, he said, we're not going to change who we are. I mean, that's who we are. We're going to run the thing with Adrian Peterson. And when it's 3rd and 12, we're going to expect him to pick up the first down. I mean, that's not an easy task for a quarterback.
And inside the 40, that is pulled in, and then a pop, and Vikings are looking for a flag. That's Stephen Burton. And then the flag does come in, a couple of them, in fact, as you can see, because they had Burton in a vice. Nick Moody may have led with his helmet. Rookie linebacker.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 54, defense for helmet-to-helmet contact with a player whose forward progress had been stopped. That 15 yards will be added to the end of the play, automatic first down.
So they're saying essentially the whistle blew, and he's in a defenseless position there, and Moody took advantage of it. You know, you understand you're a young guy and you're trying to make the team and you're trying to make an impression, and you only get so many snaps, and got the flag. So this drive stays alive. You know, it hasn't been gorgeous, but somehow it keeps going down the field.
From the 23. And that is caught at the 11-yard line by Stephen Burton, and he will be stopped in a position where it's going to be first down and goal. Trenton Robinson makes the tackle.
Big difference so far in the play of Christian Ponder standing in the pocket. I'm sure that offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave is going to be happy with that. And for Stephen Burton, that was a big play. He's a big receiver down the field, a proven blocker. He can help Adrian Peterson spring some runs, but he has to keep making those plays. He's the one that stopped short on the slant earlier.
To the outside, Patterson. And he gets to the 3-yard line. It'll be second and goal with 4.5 minutes to go in the third, and the 49ers up 20-7.
You know, you forget the defenses that the Vikings see generally are with a safety down because they have to try and help against Adrian Peterson. Well, if you have a big guy playing wide receiver that can come down and pick off that safety, all of a sudden the edge goes back to Adrian Peterson and the offense. So if Burton or Joe Webb, one of the two of big receivers, can do that job, certainly going to help him.
Vikings 5 wide, and it's lofted incomplete into the end zone. Intended for Rudolph, and you got Will Hoyt covering on the play, third down.
That one looked like a little extracurricular. Let's see. Michael Will Hoyt covering him. Well, maybe that was just Rudolph spinning around trying to make the play. Quite possibly considered uncatchable as well.
Third and goal, 5.5-minute drive. Vikings started back at their own 22-yard line. And that pass is caught for a touchdown. And that is Joe Webb as a flag comes in at the end. Joe Webb, who last year was a quarterback and started in the playoff game when Ponder was injured, and now trying to win a job as a wide receiver and special teams guy.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a face mask after the fact, but for Joe Webb, could not have had a bigger play than that right there. We saw him in the playoff game, did not play well, basically moved back to wide receiver where he was originally drafted for.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. The touchdown is good. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Right here, Joe Webb. Watch this one. He's a big, physical, fast, strong guy. And if you can do just that, if you can score touchdowns, just ask Chris Carter. Good things happen for you. That was a nice play. That was a big play for Joe Webb in this competition that he's having with Stephen Burton. So both those guys making good plays on that drive.
6'4", 220, played in Alabama, Birmingham, could run the ball, could throw the ball and clearly catch it. Played in that Tuesday night game in Philadelphia that was originally snowed out on Sunday night a couple of years ago, and then saw him in the playoffs last year against the Green Bay Packers. Vikings back within 6, 20-14, late in the third. So it's a week from Thursday. The season begins. You'll see it right here on NBC. It's Baltimore and Denver to kick off the year. Then we go right down to Big D for the Giants and the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Week 1 of the NFL season at home. Quentin Patton trying to get outside and cannot, as he gets taken down inside the 10 by Mr. Raymond. 4 minutes remaining in the third. 49ers lead by 6, and we check in with Michelle.
Well, Vikings defensive tackle Kevin Williams is done for the night after he limped off the field earlier. The training staff, the athletic training staff, just spent a couple minutes looking at that knee, checking its stability, then patted him on the leg, sent him on his way. Officially out with the right knee, but he indicated to multiple teammates, Al, that he is just fine.
And that's good news, Michelle, because that would have been disastrous for this team right now on the defensive front to lose a guy playing into the second half of a preseason game.
Just no reason to go low in that situation, and he really was not coming back towards the line of scrimmage with that block, so it wasn't one of those peel backs, but
to the outside goes McCoy, and he hits Anthony Dixon, who play running back or fullback, for a first down. Gain of 19 out to the 28-yard line, and you've got a Viking down on his knees. That's Travis Bond, a rookie tackle, 7th round pick out of North Carolina. Want to check that for you, though. Anthony McLeod. It's McLeod who was hurt. In 1 week, Notre Dame football returns at NBC. You'll see Temple against Notre Dame. It comes your way at 3 o'clock Eastern time next Saturday right here on NBC as the Fighting Irish kick off their new season. And again, that is McLeod, Anthony McLeod. Sorry, originally identified as Bond. Both guys wear number 76 because we're at that point in the season where you've got 90 guys on the roster to be cut down shortly. Marcus Lattimore, who was a great running back at South Carolina and has suffered big injuries, knee injuries, over the last 2 years. Last year's one was really horrific watching that on television, but he is rehabbing, recovering, probably won't play this year, but a guy the Niners can look to in the future as the pass is caught at the 50-yard line by John Baldwin. So the guy they just picked up from Kansas City in the trade that sent A.J. Jenkins, one first-round choice for another, picks up 20 yards.
Nice job here by the big guy. And Baldwin's not an overly fast guy, but he's big, he's strong, he's physical, has the ability to go up, and that was a good throw by Colt McCoy. Well timed, well done.
And now they go hurry up here on first down and hand the ball off to Jewel Hampton, his first carry of the night. And he gets escorted out of bounds, and we go to Michelle.
Well, I'm standing by with Christian Ponder, and the first team offense really needed to get some things going tonight. How would you assess what you guys did?
You know, I think we have a lot of room for improvement. I think we started off a little slow, a little lackadaisical. We talked about it in the huddle, and then over halftime, look, we got to get out here and pick up the tempo. I thought it got better towards the end, but we still have a lot of room for improvement.
You've got Adrian Peterson. You've got a solid defense. They've given you some wide receivers as extra weapons. A lot of people think it's up to you, Christian Ponder, to make the difference this season. How do you see that?
Well, I see it as every quarterback in the NFL is their job that, to dictate how the season's going to go for every team. So I know that, I have a big job here to lead this team, and I'm up for it.
And in your division, you've got three very well-established quarterbacks, and Jay Cutler, Matthew Stafford, and Aaron Rodgers. And how do you find yourself looking to live up to that matchup?
It's exciting for me. I mean, I'm a competitive guy, and there's some of the best quarterbacks in the league, and Aaron's probably arguably the best quarterback in the league. So it's good competition for me. It sets my expectations and goals high for myself, and it's fun.
Christian, thanks so much for the time.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Michelle. So Christian Ponder, who
Personal
played
foul,
in the
face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Played into the second half, 17 of 23 for 116, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and that penalty on Xavier Rhodes, one of their 3 first-round draft choices, rookie from Florida State.
You know what's kind of interesting in talking about Christian Ponder is that they go outdoors when they're building the new stadium at the University of Minnesota. And I asked him, what's the coldest game you ever played? Because he played at Florida State in the ACC. He said 40 degrees. There's a chance it may be a little colder than that before that season is finished.
Just the 2 seasons, just a shot. As Jewel Hampton gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage, the Vikings figured to be playing their last season at the Metrodome this year, looking to break ground on a new stadium in November that will open up in 2016. A little bit of a monkey wrench thrown into it this week, but we'll check with Michelle later, who's very much up on that situation.
Yeah, so far it's not kicking it off schedule, but definitely a little speed bump.
2nd and 12. Hampton. He gets to the 18-yard line.
All right, we got right here Marvin Mitchell, who is the current starter at that other linebacker position. Of course, Desmond Bishop, we saw him make some plays earlier. But I think Jared Allen, he kind of voted, didn't he, last night? He said he loves the way Marvin Mitchell plays with such emotion, and he thinks he just brings a charge to this defense when he's out there. But the guy trying to take his job now is Desmond Bishop.
3rd and 3, 20 seconds left, and McCoy asked for a timeout.
Well, better play out of Christian Ponder, I thought. Stayed in the pocket much better than what he's been doing in the past. Sometimes it's a little crazy in there, but sure helps to have some of those big, tall receivers. There was the nice touch pass that he had earlier in the night, and then the touchdown. So overall, I would say much improved over what we've seen. Last drive, 7 for 9. Got a couple of nice penalties to help their cause on that drive as well. But I would say that is it for Christian Ponder. And here we come with Adrian Peterson the next time you see him.
Right. At Detroit in 2 weeks. KP right there. Doesn't even have to shower after this one. 2 plays, no action. 3rd and 3. And to the outside for a first down and more. Vance McDonald. They lost Delaney Walker, the tight end, lost him to Tennessee. Vernon Davis, of course, is #1. And McDonald, the rookie out of Rice, #2 pick, the guy who can make an impact this season. As we tick down to the end of the 3rd quarter, it's the end of 3. San Francisco 20, Minnesota 14. Sunday Night Football resumes after these messages. Sun going down. Northern California, as tonight's aerial coverage is being brought to you by Geico. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. City by the Bay, final season for Candlestick Park, which has been home to the 49ers since 1971. 1st and goal from the 4. Cutting to the outside. Jewel Hampton, touchdown.
Pretty good job by the tight ends on the end of the line of scrimmage here. I think that was Garrett Selleck right there coming in motion. His counterpart inside, Vance McDonald. They both seal it off, and a walk-in touchdown for Jewel Hampton. So for Colt McCoy, nice drive. No other way to put it. That was well done, and I'm sure that Jim Harbaugh is feeling a little sense of relief. His quarterback, his backup quarterback, quite possibly, got his team in the end zone there.
91 yards, 9 plays, and we've been talking about the backup quarterback situation. The fact that McCoy is still in there. Didn't look good at the end of the first half, but clearly a nice drive here. And you begin to wonder, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting fortnight, may even be done in the next couple of days, whether he's here, whether Seneca Wallace becomes the backup. We haven't seen him tonight, might not, we don't know. Whether McCoy winds up someplace else, you just don't know.
You know, and the more I think about it, I wonder if, because Seneca Wallace has been here such a short period of time, maybe they're thinking, okay, we'll play Colt McCoy throughout this one, give Seneca Wallace a week to practice, take a good look at him in the final preseason. Or who knows, maybe they're just trying to display him for the rest of the world to see. You never know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, it could be a showcase situation. And couple of clubs out there that might even need starting quarterbacks before the regular season begins. Greg McCoy is back to receive for the Vikings. 2 yards in. And out to the 23-yard line he comes. And Matt Castle is going to come into the game. So Castle, most recently with Kansas City, spent the last 3 years there, and then he became expendable when Andy Reid got there and traded for Alex Smith from San Francisco. So Castle, who had a really good year in 08 when Tom Brady hurt his knee on opening day and was gone for the year, that earned him a big contract a couple of years later from Kansas City, and now he is the backup to Ponder. His first action of the night here. Off the play fake and throws incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10, and we go to Michelle.
All right, I'm standing by with Jared Allen. Let me first get your thoughts on Kevin Williams. You've obviously talked to him. How's his knee?
I don't know. He doesn't know yet. I'm sure our medical staff will assess it. They do a great job with injuries. From what I understand, it was a pretty dirty play. I mean, he was running to the ball and the guy jumped in front of his knee. I think there's no place for that, so it sucks.
Well, speaking of injuries, last year, in January actually, you got surgery on your left shoulder and your right knee. You were playing with a lot of stuff going on. How would you compare the way you feel right now to what you went through the past couple seasons?
I feel really good. I'm fully functional, which is nice, and just trying to get my process back. Get everything working the way it's supposed to, and get through the preseason healthy and get ready for Detroit.
Well, you're in the final year of your contract, and there hasn't been any move to extend you. How are you approaching this season?
I'm just having fun, honestly. I'm in a different situation, obviously, in my life than where I was, when my last deal was up. But I'm just having fun, and like I said, I got nothing but respect for the Vikings organization. I love being a Viking, and the good Lord will put me where He wants me to be, so I'm not worried about it.
Well, how disappointed are you that they didn't make the move to extend you?
Hey, you know what? Honestly, I'm in a lucky position where I get to play out my contract. Most people don't get to do that. Either guys want to re-up sooner, or teams try to make them take pay cuts. Both sides are respecting the deal, and we'll see what happens come free agency.
All right, playing, having fun. Jared Allen now.
All right, thank you, Michelle. The always quotable Jared Allen.
He's one of our favorite guys to have a meeting with because he just fires it out. There's not a whole lot of time between what he thinks and what he says, which is good for us.
He'll never bamboozle you. You know that.
Yeah, he's fun. He's fun to be around. They're talking about using him in a rotation this year, a 3-man rotation, which he's never had before. And he kept going, we'll see about that. We'll see, because I'm not sure I'm leaving the field no matter who they send out there. But they really do want to try and keep those guys a little fresher. And so that one may be a little point of contention as the season goes along.
We'll see under Alan Williams, the defensive coordinator, most sacks in the player's first 9 seasons. And the great Reggie White at 137. And there is Jared at 117.
It is amazing when you talk about a player in Jared Allen's case having a down season with 12 sacks. That's a career year for a lot of guys. And comparing him to the gold standard there in Reggie White.
After Banyard's run picks up a first down. Castle and then throws low and behind. Low and outside for Banyard. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, that's sometimes you see that with veteran quarterbacks and young players. I think Matt Castle knew that he was supposed to sit down on that route in the hole, and Joe Banyard didn't quite pick up on that.
13 minutes to play. The 49ers on top. 27-14. Oh yeah, well, you got the wave going on. Now you got a couple of fans coming out.
There's Mike Curtis when you need him. Oh, there we go.
Well, one of the Vikings,
I think that's
Jerome Simpson actually came off the sideline and whacked the guy.
Well, there was 2 different guys on the field, and Jerome Simpson gave him the blind side, and they're going to rough this guy up a little bit here, the men in blue.
Well, he's already been roughed up.
I think he didn't run by Harbaugh. Remember John talking about Jim, sort of his whole life looking for a fight everywhere he went.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing, wasn't it, to see those two guys, two brothers coaching against each other in the Super Bowl?
And, you know, we've gotten to know them both, obviously, through the years. Crowd is, but there they are, right after the Super Bowl. And John, of course, was the victor. Jim comes up 5 yards short at the end. We're talking about that with him the other night. So many mixed emotions. You know, one of the great thrills of your life, you're coaching in the Super Bowl, and one of the biggest disappointments in your life is you're coming away without the ring.
Yeah. And Anquan Bolden got the ring and then came to this team. So that was a little weird going through their ring ceremony, and I got the big one.
And down goes Castle on a 2nd and 10 play back at the 26-yard line. Travis Johnson, rookie out of San Jose State, gets the sack.
There's Big Moody, who had the late hit before. Ends up making a play here on the blitz. Those little cross blitzes you see out of the Pittsburgh Steelers so much. Actually, that was Travis Johnson, I think.
Right.
Ended up with the sack.
Free agent signee. Plays college football at San Jose, just down the road, and the pass to the sideline is incomplete. Here's Harbaugh in pregame tonight.
We saw him in practice the other day, and he was snapping the ball. I mean, he was playing center in drills and taking the quarterback's hand and snapping it up there. He's in every huddle. He's all football all the time. I mean, I don't think you could have a conversation with him about world affairs or what's going on in the Middle East. He doesn't care. That's him. He just is football. Oh, boy.
And again, now you got another fan out on the field. He gets anywhere near the Viking sideline,
come on, Jerome.
This guy's smart enough to run down the numbers instead of near the sideline. Taken down at the 1. So the crowd, some of them anyway, just amusing themselves. And all it takes is a couple.
Yeah, the stands here, especially in the end zone, you can walk onto this field. There's not even...
Well, the old relic will be knocked down after this year. The 49ers move to the new digs down south, hard by their training facility.
You'll never forget this place, will you?
No, I don't think I will.
That was an amazing moment in sports. The earthquake hit when you were about to announce the World Series game, right?
October 17th, 1989, and 10-day delay in the World Series. Of course, a lot of damage throughout the Bay Area. A night that nobody was here will ever forget as the punt is fielded at the 28-yard line by Chad Hall. And he brings it back out to the 38-yard line. 12:21 remaining in San Francisco. 49ers up by 13 points. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% on car insurance. By Chili's. And by AT&T Rethink Possible. San Francisco. There's the Bay Bridge, and beyond it, beyond Treasure Island, Yerba Buena Island, the new portion of it to open up this week. McCoy Dunn, 11 of 15, looked good in the second half. B.J. Daniels is the new quarterback, and he's going to hand the ball off on first down to DJ Harper. So initials all over the joint here. BJ to DJ. Rookie out of South Florida is Daniels, drafted in the 7th round.
Yeah, and B.J. Daniels comes out, and we see read option right off the bat. He was good in college. He threw for over 8,000 yards, ran for over 2,000 yards, seems to fit into the mold of this offense with Colin Kaepernick as the leading star.
And on 2nd and 7, he's going to throw on the run, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Chuck Jacobs, and we will check in with Michelle.
Well, after those 3 fans ran onto the football field, extra San Francisco policemen have been brought in. They were in the parking lot on bikes, just monitoring the parking lots, but they've been asked to come in and provide extra security in front of these seats that are in the end zones, Al, just to make sure that we don't have any more interruptions of this game.
Well, I think the chances of that are minimal at the moment. We've seen 3 guys out on the field. 3rd down and 7. And that pass is caught on a slant, and that is Austin Collie. Played, of course, at Indianapolis in the Peyton Manning years. Has had a number of concussions. Picks up the 1st down here. A guy trying to win a spot on the roster.
Right there he is, and all that experience. You got to think somebody's going to find him interesting before this year's up. It's a good throw. I'm glad. I was scared to death when he ducked his head like that. It looked like he might take another shot with all the issues he's had in the past.
And on 1st down, Jewel Hampton. A pretty good workload here in the 2nd half. Chugs his way for a gain of a couple.
Yeah, the read option is definitely still in the game plan. We're seeing B.J. Daniels carrying out his fake. Watch this. There we go. And then he's going to carry that thing out. So you can see he has some of that skill set. And I thought in the last preseason game, he was sort of the star of the game. He looked tremendous back there, made some plays, kind of woke up the offense a little bit. Hard to imagine, despite Jim Harbaugh telling us that yes, he would be in contention for the number 2 spot, that they would turn it over to a rookie. But
2nd charge timeout.
He has been impressive.
San Francisco.
San Fran takes a timeout. Hey, who knows with Harbaugh? Remember last year when he made that choice when Alex Smith got hurt and everybody said he was crazy? Yep, crazy enough to get to the Super Bowl.
Well, Alex Smith ended up the year, he didn't qualify, didn't have enough throws, but quarterback rating of over 100, so he put up some numbers. But he knew the big play possibilities, and he knew if he were going to get to the Super Bowl and have a chance to win it all, and that's what it's really all about. Nobody cares if you get to the playoffs. You want a shot to win it all, and Colin Kaepernick, he felt, gave him that chance, and he ended up being right.
I'm upset that they had to take the time out there. Thought they had it in rhythm. Thought the guys knew all of the plays. Somebody's either lining up wrong or didn't know the play, so they took the time out, and it's 2nd down and 7. Deep drop by Daniels, and the pocket collapses, and down he goes at the 46-yard line.
A lot of the reserves in there at this point. Pretty nice looking pass rush on the play. Anthony McLeod breaking through and getting some penetration. I tell you, for these guys, we all think, okay, it's the end of the game, starters are out, whatever, the crowd's doing the wave and all that. For the guys on the field right now, they're fighting for their lives. This is their one shot to make the NFL. Sometimes the pace of play actually picks up in the 4th quarter.
Exactly right. Trying to earn a nice paycheck in a couple of weeks. And that pass down the sideline is hauled in by Hawkins, who had the touchdown on the 105-yard return. So at a 3rd down and 11, a flag comes in at the end of the play at the very end. This time I don't think involving Hawkins. And he picks up 22 yards.
I'll tell you, B.J. Daniels continues to impress me. He stands in that pocket. One of the
unsportsmanlike conduct, number 4 of the offense for headbutting an opponent. The result of the play is a 1st down.
I was hoping
it
wasn't him.
15-yard penalty.
This is not a rookie. This is a guy who has plenty of experience. He's with Tennessee for a couple of years, was in the New England camp. So it's not like some rookie.
But watch this.
That's the second time.
They're going to enforce this in a way they haven't in the past. So the taunting, and that's considered taunting now. The spinning of the ball, that's taunting now. That probably may have been what got him the flag right there. But they're going to much more strictly enforce those types of fouls this year. Unfortunately, Lavelle Hawkins is finding out the hard way.
There's Daniels again, and Daniels taking off and showing his speed, and down the sideline he goes, all the way inside the 20-yard line.
You know, the hard part about this, if you're Jim Harbaugh, is you would love to have the opportunity to stash B.J. Daniels on the practice squad. Unfortunately, you put him on the practice squad, and other bidders may come after him because the tape he has put on for the last couple of weeks, people are going to be interested. And he's thrown it well. He's run it well. Colin Kaepernick, he's enjoying the show too.
From the 27-yard line, they give the ball to Jewel Hampton. Around the corner he goes for a first down.
There's that little nasty read option one more time. That was actually one that Daniels could have pulled out. When you see the end come down inside, typically that means the quarterback's going to take it. Instead, he hands it off and it ends up being okay too. But you see the alley that's created on the outside if he had pulled that thing out and decided to run it himself.
This is going to be an interesting personnel decision for these guys, because as you say, if you put them out there, Chris, you're going to lose them in all likelihood. So do you keep three? What do you do?
I mean, it's a really tough one, and we haven't seen Seneca Wallace yet. But I was watching Seneca Wallace warm up on the field before the game, and he throws a beautiful ball. And he has a little bit of that mobility. I think Seneca Wallace, when he was in Seattle, played some receiver, right?
Yes,
Didn't he use him on the outside? So you know he's athletic. You know he can make plays. This is going to be interesting. It really is. There's no clear-cut choice. And Scott Tolzien, who has been having some back spasms, may be the odd man out on this quarterback derby, at least for tonight.
Second down and 7 from the 9. And the inside handoff here, and that's Anthony Dixon, and he is close to a first down. Either third and short or first and goal, and they put the ball down with 7:20 left in the fourth. Third down.
Here we go again, just going to make the read, but watch B.J. Daniels on the end of this play. He's going to carry out the fake and then back straight up. They know, quarterbacks in the league know that these outside linebackers, defensive ends are being told this year, knock that quarterback down, attack him. He is live when he's carrying out that fake. These guys are paying attention.
3rd and 1, and they give the ball off to Harper. DJ Harper has the first down, comes up a little short of the goal line. It should be first down and goal.
Patrick Umame, the right guard right there. Gets a little movement out of that one. Just taking one back into the end zone.
Harper? No, not this time. It's swung back as he reaches the line of scrimmage. Michael Mauti, a rookie at Penn. Interesting guy here. A chance, Penn State, a guy with a chance to make the team. Has looked good in preseason.
And he's a guy that came off of 3 ACL injuries. And of course, the Minnesota Vikings, he would have been drafted much higher without those injuries. Obviously, he's a heck of a player. But the Vikings have had such great success, obviously with Adrian Peterson and others, rehabbing those knees. They took a chance.
Daniels to the outside and can't turn it back in as he gets undercut at the 3-yard line. Desmond Bishop, former Packer, stops him there. 3rd down and goal.
Well, you know, Desmond Bishop was the leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers back in 2011. And, you know, he's not some kid out here. You've seen this circus act before. So he was right there flying up the field. And I do think Desmond Bishop has played better tonight. I think he's given them a little bit of what they've been looking for out of him. Whether or not he can overtake Marvin Mitchell for the starting job, don't know that. But he's played well.
3rd and goal, and trying to get in is Anthony Dixon, and he is short. So it'll be 4th down and goal from inside the 1 on a drive that has consumed more than half of the quarter. 7:40 on the drive thus far.
Well, you see if this ball crosses. Remember, the ball has to touch any part of the goal line to be considered a touchdown. Don't think so.
Nope.
I guarantee you go for it here, because this is where you find out about guys, you know.
Sure.
4th and 1 and everything on the line, and here we go.
Dixon is the tailback. He gets it, dives in. Touchdown 49ers. Eight minutes and 9 seconds. 63 yards, 15 plays.
I like Anthony Dixon. I really do. He's a guy, you want him to play halfback, he can do that. You want him to play fullback, he can do that. He's a missile on special teams. And when you need him to fly, no problem.
And Phil Dawson to tack on the 34th point to give the 49ers a 20-point advantage with 4:12 game at Candlestick Park. Coming to NBC, James Spader will be starring in a new drama, The Blacklist. It premieres on Monday night, September the 23rd, right here on NBC. Halfway to the stars, the cable cars, as we come back to San Francisco. We'll be here in early October for a Sunday night game as the Texans come in. This is Colton Schmidt who's going to kick off. Fielded at the 4-yard line. Bradley Randall brings it back for the Vikings to the 23-yard line with 4 minutes to go, and San Francisco up handily 34-14. Well, the 49ers will have a new stadium next year, and in a matter of about 3 years, that is what the Viking Stadium, at least the artist rendering, makes it look like. In Minneapolis, it'll be on the site of the Metrodome, which will be torn down at the end of this season. And that's the way it might look, with fireworks going off near the Mississippi River. In just a moment, we'll talk to Michelle. There's Mark Wilf, who's one of the co-owners of the team, brother Ziggy. Working San Francisco tonight. Is on 1st down. Castle throws, and it would have been an easy interception. Instead, it's a completion. Michael Thomas had it. Can't believe he couldn't come up with it. And then it winds up in the hands of a Minnesota Viking receiver, Chase Ford.
Do you have to call bank when you get one of these here? That was right. That was pretty fun.
Side pocket.
To go. Yeah, that's pretty good.
3.5 to go at the 43-yard line. And Castle in relief of Ponder swings it to the outside, and that's caught here by Joe Banyard. And so, Michelle, fill us in. What do you know?
Well, back on August 5th, Alan, New Jersey judge found Vikings owners Ziggy and Mark Wilf guilty of violating that state's fraud and civil racketeering laws in a 21-year-old real estate lawsuit. And as a result, Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton ordered additional due diligence into the Wilfs' finances to make sure they can meet their $477 million obligation to the new stadium. And while a representative of the state told me they don't anticipate finding anything that would further complicate the deal, they want to be able to reassure the public who are financing the other half of the deal that they have covered all their bases.
And what do you know about the investigation at this point?
Well, the Wilfs say they're cooperating with the stadium authorities' investigation, and that the New Jersey lawsuit would have zero impact, in their words, on their ability to finance the new stadium. The NFL told me earlier today they are standing firmly behind the Wilfs and the league's financial commitment to the stadium as well.
All right, 3rd down and 5 here. A couple of more questions in regard to that after Castle escapes, seeks the sideline, picks up the first down. So, Michelle, they're supposed to break ground in November?
Yeah, they're supposed to break ground November 1st, and at the moment, both sides say the project is on time, on track, and on budget. Now, that could change. The Vikings have broken off talks over the stadium's lease agreement, saying that until the state is 100% confident in the Wilfs, there's no point in negotiating. And I'm told that if the stadium authority conclude its investigation by September 15th, the schedule should remain intact. And Al, all of this sounds really messy, but the project has been 12 years in the making. Both sides have indicated to me that they don't expect this current quarrel to derail things.
Well, we will see what happens in Minneapolis, where it's taken a long time, as you say, to get to this point. And one thing I know is that the artist rendering looked terrific.
And yeah, the skylights at the top of that stadium. It looks pretty cool. So hopefully we'll get a chance to broadcast a few games in that new building.
No shadow issues at night, but during the day, I'm beginning to wonder. 2nd down and 6. As the handoff here goes to Bradley Randall, and he'll pick up a first down as we will go down to the 2-minute warning in San Francisco. A pair of minutos to go. 34-14, 49ers. With NFL Fantasy Football, make draft day your day. Sign up for free today at NFL.com/fantasy. And that's a shot right out of fantasy land right there with the sun going down over the Pacific. A look back at the Golden Gate Bridge. On this Sunday night in the Bay Area as we wind it down and a little screen pass goes awry. And it'll be 2nd down and 10. 49ers talking about how tough it is for them at the beginning of the season. Green Bay comes in here. They'll open up with the pack. Go to Seattle, and that's a Sunday night game on NBC. Indy comes in here. And then at St. Louis, where the Rams gave the 49ers fits in both games last year. And then a Sunday night game in Candlestick in October against the Houston Texans.
We may not see a game all year as good as San Francisco at Seattle in week 2. I mean, that one may well turn into the next sort of Baltimore-Pittsburgh rivalry that has always a little added juice to it. Starting with the 2 head coaches.
Right, 2 great defenses.
In college.
2 great defenses, Kaepernick and Wilson. 2 great running backs. The loudest stadium in football in Seattle.
Remember some of those shots of Colin Kaepernick trying to make the calls in that stadium?
Sure do. And 3rd and 7, it's broken up at the last moment on a pass to the corner of the end zone intended for Lamarck Brown. It'll be 4th down. Speaking of Kaepernick in Seattle last year, we kid you not.
And just screaming in the huddle, and that's not even a huddle. That's like, everybody mushed around as close as they can possibly get, and they kept having to call timeout, couldn't get the communication going, and look at them. I mean, I've never seen a tighter huddle than that, and they barely hear them.
And on 4th and 7, Castle going deep again, and this time not even close, throwing it out of bounds and turning the ball over with 66 seconds remaining. Back after this, 34-14. One week from Thursday, we get going. September the 5th, the Super Bowl champs, the Baltimore Ravens, go to Denver. Peyton Manning and company. That'll get things started on NBC. Bob and the gang will be there for the kickoff show. Keith Urban will be performing in Baltimore. As part of that, Ravens and Broncos coverage begins 7:30 Eastern time a week from Thursday night. And now you got Seneca Wallace coming into the game over the last minute of play, and he begins with a reverse roll and a pass that is caught by Shepler for a first down.
How many plays could he possibly know at this point? I mean, he probably, you know, you want to say, all right, let's go into the 2-minute mode. Well, I guarantee you Seneca Wallace has never run the 2-minute offense with the 49ers, so they're going to try and do the best they can here and get him a few plays.
From the 50, Wallace, who was most recently in the Saints camp, and he was out of football last year after starting his career at Seattle. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, one last update on Vikings defensive tackle Kevin Williams, who had that right knee that took him out of the game. He's in the locker room, but I am told he had ice on the knee for about 20 minutes. They took it off, and he's gone to the locker room simply because the game is coming to a close. Out.
That's good news, and of course everybody will keep an eye on him. He won't play in all likelihood this week, and we hope to have him obviously back for opening day against Detroit, and that will do it as the foghorn signifies a San Francisco victory. Kaepernick looking good toward the end of his stint tonight, 34-14. The 49ers win it. Again, the kickoff special. Baltimore against Denver is a week from Thursday, and the opening Sunday night game is the Giants taking on the Dallas Cowboys 2 weeks from tonight, right here on NBC. So coming up next, except on the West Coast, your local news followed by Dateline. Al Michaels for Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, our gang headed by Fred Godelli and Drew Esicott, saying good night from San Francisco, and we'll see you a week from Thursday from Denver.